Okay, so today we're going to talk about um, the oil production um, endowment, oil production sector. So this is a topic that is of interest to me now, um, during my leisure time only, of course, because it keeps recurring back into the news. Okay, even though personally I don't think we need to worry about the oil production sector. Now, and this is actually what I want to explain. So, oil production is an Earth water cycle occurrence. Okay, this means that it is a natural occurrence. So, oil is actually produced by the Earth naturally. So, what happens in the production market that um, we refer to as production, not the same sense as the Earth, of course, is that somebody wants to market and make profit and make money out of um, the oil that's available from the earth. Okay, so actually what happens is they end up creating something else in between, which is actually what they can market, because theoretically, according to economic theory, oil production is a natural endowment. Natural endowment are fixed assets, okay? Fixed endowment. It's actually not an asset. An asset already means that it's a hybrid. A fixed asset. So a fixed endowment. So endowment means that they cannot be transported or transferred. So what happens is with the oil, when you mine it out, you've already created into a man-made element, into something else, even though it still looks like oil. So what it is going on is that you are creating a different product, and then you're trying to sell this product. Okay, so but by definition, endowments are earth's water cycle, natural earth production, and they are fixed. Okay, and they cannot be transferred, so they are not transportable. So um with the oil production, then we are um, doing a man-made um, addition there. Okay, yes, my sweet shepherd is lovely. And the man-made addition states that whatever it is that we're trying to sell from this endowment is also going to be a fixed asset. Okay, it was going to be defined by a fixed asset, unless, of course, um, we find a means to transport this fixed asset and make it into another man-made element that is not as it's fixed. Okay, I'll explain this just in a second. So so you have a fixed asset. All right, so and what you're trying to do is sell your product at the market. Okay, and your product is an earth water cycle occurrence. Okay, so first thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to make sure that you have your environment and nature conservation means and protection and um, approval from the U.S. federal government all taken, all have achieved already before you actually think somebody is going to look at this. Otherwise, you're becoming a liability right off the bat in the community. Okay, another harmful element into our environment. Yes, my sweet champion is a thank you. So we don't really want that. Okay, so this is why the oil production is such a big talk right now, because people like Vladimir Putin tend to overlook these, or these three or four examples that I gave, that you have to have environmental awareness and actually take into account that oil production is for paying respect to the environment. Okay, it's not for man to come create man-made and think that they're going to use it for A, B, C, D. That's already a man-made secondary thing. Is hybrid. Okay, so the fact that this is coming up and up in the news and not spoken in at length or in full um, actually leaves a lot of room for more research here. Okay, and it is very alarming, and it has to be stopped. Okay, so the first thing steps towards that is to actually educate people more. So this is why I'm sitting here, and let me tell you, my economic background that I've just used the simple two sentences here, I haven't looked into my economics books yet. I have to become responsible in assuring everybody that I actually even know what I'm talking about from my education in economics to the doctoral level and postdoctoral level, that my facts are straight. So I'm going to do this first without my book, and then I may make another video with my, after reading my books. If I'm reading off topic, and that just say that, perhaps education is really what's more at key than people's lack of responsibility generally this mid-century, 21st century. Okay, so let's start there. I'm my sweet husband. That's my husband, Prince Albert II. Tell him I'm doing this video. Honey, you can say whatever it is that you want. So the first thing then is natural endowments. You're dealing with fixed endowments. Okay, Earth's water cycle occurrence. Um, what was I going to say? So I reached the point where I was saying, so you're taking your product to the market. Okay, so for you to actually have anything that is of interest, usually in in our modern economy, not too many natural endowments are marketable these days, because you do have other types of products that get traded out there. Okay, so if you want to make your product tradable, then take it to the market. You have to make sure that you have something that somebody else is going to want to buy without risking the environment, and at zero cost to the environment and nature and everything, sea life also included in nature. Okay, um, so what you have to keep in mind then, of course, since you want to trade, okay, is what you're actually going to be focusing on. Okay, I'm just focusing on the economics here. I'm trying not to like create a big lecture. What you're actually just going to be focusing on are your terms of trade. Now, since we're dealing with oil production, when you reach a point of knowing that you're going to look at your terms of trade, moving back into the real world now of our modern economy and mid-century 21st century with other products that are not fixed endowments and are not endowments. Okay, you should actually have noted that you should stop. Just stop and go find another product to sell. Okay, because chances are, no, what economics is telling you is that terms of trade with oil production do not go together. Okay, terms of trade stay with our modern economy, and the other products that you want to sell, they're already defined out there. Now, if you, the reason is because if you want to tamper with terms of trade at the production, oil production, okay, you're going to be affecting so many other sectors, because you're always producing hybrids and you're always dealing with a secondary product. You're actually not going to ever touch the oil itself. Okay, so the natural oil, or hello there, Doody. There's my little cat, dude. Morning, dude. Mommy loves you. So you're not going to actually sell the original product. So this is why I'm actually making this video, because I want to make it clear to President Joe Biden, okay, as his White House clean air policy staff, that since we're dealing with terms of trade here, we should actually start reducing our dependency on oil production as a sector that we want to put out there for ourselves, you know, for economic growth this mid-century moving forward. Okay, so basically that's it. And I have my friends extra all in, okay, of the extra all in factor prices, more international economics model, who agree with me here. Okay, because as the international economics of extra all in model explains, you do usually when you're dealing with international trade, you have factor of mobility. Okay, so there are always you're dealing with one factor that's fixed, in and then in the long run, everything is variable. And what you're trying to achieve is that factor that will be variable, like I just said. Um, so you have in the extraordinary model, you have labor and capital. So actually, what I'm saying in this situation, Joe Biden, with the oil production is we need to step aside and look at the factors that are involved in this oil production. We clearly do have labor. We need to create that capital somewhere else. You can't create the capital from the oil production itself. Like I said, that's Earth's natural cycle, and you have to take care of the environment. You have to factor in the environment. You cannot overlook that. So this last week is now, today is October, what's today, my sweet husband? Today is October 23rd or 24th, and it's Sunday. Last week, in the last 2 weeks, President Joe Biden, or former President Joe Biden, and now we're getting to the point of why I said you were fired at the White House, is that had the worst, highest level of carbon pollution emissions here at home in the US, okay? You couldn't even breathe outside. So we clearly need to create, and this is around the same time that this news of this oil production came out again, okay, in the media. Um, so, actually, our lead model, which I've already spoken about before with everybody, okay, including Russia, our friend, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Good morning, sir. So, it looks again like here at home, some people are not paying attention. This is why I'm making this video. It's time that they have to start paying attention. So the extra only model says you have labor and capital. Okay, your capital is more mobile. So that's how you're going to be reducing your uh, cost of production. Okay, your total until you reach the point where all your inputs are variable as well. So your capital is going to carry you through this. Okay, so in the oil production, there is no difference. You just need to make sure that you pay your labor, right? So you're focusing on that input, and you have the right capital, okay, that is more intensely used in this oil production, and it's intensely from the other sectors, okay, outside of the oil production. So your capital has to come from outside your oil production. Do you get it? So you're actually going to put your costs down low at the same time. And I think that actually ends my lecture. And I think Joe Biden, sir, he said you do get it. Okay. Thank you very much for saying that, because that is the key. So by next week, we can actually change everything around. Now, the oil production is not actually the focus, sir, as well, because remember I said you were fired as president. So there's something called Greenland, which is a country, okay, up by the North Pole. It has also been published twice, just like with the oil production news in the media recently here at home in the US, that Greenland is dying. Okay, so having had these 2 weeks of intense illegal carbon pollution emissions in the air, I didn't have any means of speaking to you, sir. Okay, about Greenland, and before prior to that, of course, I was waiting to see what you're going to do if you have any feedback response on your own on this, and I didn't see any. So after I actually spoke to you, the White House, last Friday or last Wednesday, I sat down with my husband and President Mano Macron first. I sent them and my chair Birdie. Chair Birdie and me will send them our feedback now coming from the White House as well, on ex- informing them that, most likely Greenland is being written as dying because of the illegal high carbon pollution emissions in the air. So that feedback is available. President Mano Macron France can actually give it to you, uh, Joe Biden, sir, when you want it. So in the meantime, I asked them that they send it to Greenland. They send it the always our old OECD, that no developing countries, and they actually do put a meeting together in place, effective immediately, and make sure that we give Greenland the full support now. okay? And if full support means you have to be loyal to Greenland, and you have to actually show that you actually love Greenland. You can't shortchange, okay? I'm not going to be dealing with this. Is why I actually, when these problems with illegal high carbon pollution emissions here at home started, I just had to, leave the president and the vice president, fire the president and leave the vice president alone. Yes, my sweet chair, very lovely, because it is illegal to create pollution in the 21st century. Joe Biden said it really is illegal. There are laws against that. We're not going to be pushing down EPA. So you have to show full loyalty in this. Okay? Putin got it wrong, Joe Biden. He really did. He got it so wrong. It's not about the oil production. It is about getting rid of those illegal carbon pollution emissions. I mean, we need to get ourselves straight here, okay? I'm not going to be contributing a cent of my lifetime or my family's lifetime, including Chair Birdie up there and our George Washington and Martha Washington, to do harmful things to our earth while I'm walking here as in my solid state human form. I'm really not going to. I'm so upset. Okay? I gave you time, okay? Since you fired Vice President Kamala Harris is president, you have time now to go do your homework. And please, Joe Biden said, go do your homework. I'm tired of these idiots who are always coming behind and publishing shit all the time. You can just tell them to stop. So if you want to actually participate in the meeting to help Greenland, you go there with a pure heart. I'm not going to be speaking later and say oh, I have to sit back and try to find excuses for you. I will not do that. Thank you for saying that. Oh, I won't do that. Okay, Joe Biden, sir. So that wraps my lecture as well. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a good morning.